go to film the intro, they start hammering. Great timing. Alright, so today it is day 2 of 15 days of foundation. If you're new here, this is where we're trying out a new foundation every single day for 15 days. If you missed yesterday's video, you'll want to go watch it because I shared a lot of information about the series and just stuff to get us all on the same page. I forgot to mention in day 1 that the products I'm showing in 15 days of foundation versus Foundation Friday, these are like the most requested foundations from you guys, ones that I've been holding on to for this series or that are just brand new and have gotten a lot of hype around them. So the foundations in this series are like the ones you've been waiting for. So today we're going to be talking about the Sephora Perfection Mist Airbrush Foundation. This has been one of the most requested foundations for a couple of years now. I think because I mentioned I was going to do a review on it a couple years ago, like when I first got this shade. Put it on one time and it was way too light and the color looked super off, so I like took it off. That was the only time I've ever used this product. I have no incoming thoughts on it besides that this shade was too light, so I actually picked up a second shade. This first shade that I tried was Cream, and this one is very, very pink toned and also just super, super light. So if you are even more fair than I am, this one might work for you. I picked up the shade Fair this time around, which is the shade up that has more neutral undertones. I feel like my face looks best when I have a neutral undertone foundation. I think I can go pink and I can go a little bit yellow, but neutral is, I feel, what works best for me. So I'm gonna insert some swatches right now of these two shades compared to some of my other foundations that I own. So these are kind of hard to swatch, so I'm just gonna spray them and show you. So this is the shade Cream, that lightest shade. I'm just gonna do it like right here. Here we have the next shade up, Fair. I think I could go with this lightest one, it just like washes me out a little bit. So this is a little tricky, but hopefully you can see. So next one over, I swatched the Sonia Kashuk foundation in Bisque from yesterday. This is Estee Lauder Double Wear in 1C1. And then here's Lancome Tint Idol Ultra in 090. This lighter shade of the Airbrush foundation is actually looking a little bit more neutral than the 090 in Lancome. So if you haven't heard a whole lot about this foundation before, some people call this a dupe for the Dior Air Flash foundation. I haven't tried that one. I don't know. $60 for a spray foundation just seems absurd to me, but I'll probably cave and review it at some point. But this one is half the price. This is a full-on airbrush foundation, so you basically like spray it on your face. I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's read some of the claims on Sephora. You actually get a ton of product in here. You get 2.5 fluid ounces of product, and this retails for $28. Since it's in an aerosol, that might be why you probably have to use a lot more product than just a liquid foundation. So as far as how long it's going to last you compared to something like this where it's just a liquid foundation and it has about a fluid ounce of product, hard to say because it obviously depends on how much product you use. So it comes in 10 shades. The fair range is pretty good since they do have this super pale shade. I'm not sure about the deeper shades, but it says there is a deep shade, dark with red undertones. 10 shades, not great. So it says it blurs imperfections seamlessly and controls shine for up to 10 hours with a satin finish foundation. The weightless microfine pigments of InstaBlend technology ensure color lays down smooth and seamless so you can build to your desired coverage level from light to full. So you're supposed to be able to get it up to full coverage, we'll see. Something like this, in my mind, seems like more of a special events kind of makeup, since I don't think you would sit there and like spray shit on your face every day. So I'm hoping that this wears well throughout the day and lasts long because of that. If you guys are excited about 15 days of foundation, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. So if you want to see how this foundation applies and wears throughout the day, you're in the right place, just keep watching. Alright, it is 8:40 in the morning. So I've already washed and primed my face with the Jouer Anti-Blemish Matte Primer. I have my Sigma F80 brush here. We're going to try it with this too, but I want to first go in and see how much coverage we get by just spraying it on my face. Directions say to shake well for 5 seconds. We've already done that. Cover hair and close. Wasn't ready for that. Close eyes and hold can 10 inches away while pressing on nozzle and moving in circular motions. Supposed to blend it out with the brush. For lighter coverage, spray directly onto brush and blend in. For fuller coverage, spray 6 to 8 inches away from face, spraying in circular movements. So we're gonna do 6 to 8 inches, so I'm trying to get some coverage over here. I just got this shirt that I'm just gonna wrap around me because I don't want to get this shirt messed up. And I guess we'll pin back my bangs. I feel like I'm wearing a bib. This is scary. For some reason it feels a lot different than spraying setting spray. I feel like I don't know where my face is. Oh, can't. Okay, just gonna go in. Whew. Oh, I feel like I can't breathe. Whoa, okay. Well, there's definitely product on my face. Whoa, my earring is like totally covered. Did get it all in my hairline. The shade looks a little dark. I felt like it had a really strong scent. It smelled super chemically and I didn't want to like breathe in and inhale it. So you kind of have to like hold your breath when you put it on. I'm gonna try and go in with a little bit more, maybe just on this side of my face, see if we can get any more coverage. I'm gonna do 6 inches now, which I feel like is right here maybe. So we got a little bit more coverage. I think I missed like down here. You can definitely see that this isn't totally blended, so I'm just gonna go back and blend with this thing. Whoa, okay, that's like taking away. I'm gonna try and spray this directly onto the brush and see what happens. So that gave me pretty much no more coverage. You can still see everything down here. I think you do get better coverage by just spraying it on, but then when you blend it out, it kind of just takes it all away. So I might try spraying it on again and then blending it out with a sponge. I want to try and get right here so I can see how much it covers. Put my freaking turtleneck on. Whoa, okay, that did not blend at all. Okay, not bad. I would say that got about, we're at medium coverage now on this side. Yeah, that covered actually pretty well down here. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. I feel like I missed this spot down here, so I'm just gonna really layer it on. Okay, now we're talking. With the amount that I just put on, which I feel like was a lot, now I know why they give you 2.5 fluid ounces. With this amount, I feel like we got about high medium coverage. It looks pretty full coverage on my forehead because there's not a lot to cover up there, but you can still see some freckles and stuff coming through. It's not completely full coverage, but I do feel like we got a solid medium coverage. The shade is definitely a little bit dark and it's pretty yellow actually. It is hard to blend down your neck without getting foundation everywhere, so I'm just gonna go in and spray some of that on my brush just to blend it a little bit. Applying it to the brush does virtually nothing. I think to get product you really have to just spray. Down here it looks like it is starting to set and feels like it is. It's looking a little bit more matte. On my forehead it still looks really dewy. So I just turned down the lights. Here's what it looks like up close right now. So I'm gonna give it a few more minutes to set and then apply the rest of my makeup. Alright, so it is 9:11. Oh, I hate looking at the clock at 9:11. I did super simple makeup today because I'm actually having to go to the chiropractor right after this. I am going to be face down, so the foundation might get messed up a little bit, but that's not till 11:30. I tried my best to plan all of my doctor's appointments and chiropractor and massage and all of that around when I'm filming and stuff, but sometimes I just can't avoid it. I found out some pretty intense health news yesterday. I'm just having to make a lot of lifestyle changes, but just so you know, if I'm not super chipper or whatever I usually am, I don't think it's chipper, that is why. The food restraints are like the least of my concerns, honestly. That's just what we're doing to try and help the other stuff. Anyways, let's look at the foundation. So now that the rest of my makeup is on, I actually really like the way that this is looking. I feel like the shade of it, not warmed up to my skin, but I don't know, once I put the concealer on under my eyes, I feel like it just kind of brightened up my face a little bit. I decided not to use a setting powder today because it actually set pretty well. I don't want the powder to take away from the finish that we have right now. Blush, bronzer, highlight, blended out okay on top. It kind of took away some of the coverage that I had on my cheeks, which happens to me sometimes with certain foundations. It's still looking really nice and like dewy on my forehead. The rest of my face looks like a satin finish. The only area that I think doesn't look great right now is around my pores, and I didn't pull down my concealer today. I kept it, I only did 3 tiny dots and I just put it right underneath my eyes. So hopefully you can see this, but right here, my pores look pretty huge and it looks a little bit like heavy around this area. I don't know why, and I noticed that before I even started doing the rest of my makeup. It just looked a little bit heavier around this area. The forehead looks really nice. As of right now, I'm liking the finish of it. I like how it looks on my skin. It looks pretty flawless. I'm not a fan of how you have to use this to get this kind of coverage. There's no way in hell I would spray this on my face every day and like wear a bib essentially. Personally, I would only use this like once in a blue moon for special events if I wanted my face to look like super flawless and airbrushed and stuff. Because I feel like this is more of a special events foundation, I am gonna do a flash test just to see. So I'd say it looks pretty good in flash. There might be a little bit of flashback, but my face doesn't look like extra ghostly white. I'm gonna see what it looks like on the normal camera. Okay, this looks really good on camera. What the heck? So super quick, I'm gonna tell you guys what's on the rest of my face if you wanna know. So I use this new It Cosmetics Je ne sais quoi. Je ne sais quoi. Don't know how to say it. This is their new face palette, and this, I was like, hell yeah when I opened this because it has this white face powder. I use this underneath my eyes to set my concealer. Bronzer, I use this shade right here. I didn't use blush at all today, and I feel like this gave off a really nice, like, warm, reddy bronze without being too orange. And then this highlight, It Cosmetics highlighters always surprise me. They look horrible when you swatch them, even on your hand or using a brush. I even tried to like use a brush and put it on my wrist, and it looked really bad, and I almost didn't put it on my face. And then when you use a brush, it does something magical on your face. There's the highlight. Really like this highlight. Same thing happened to the My Sculpted face palette. The highlighters just like surprise you. Like I do almost every day on my eyes, all I did was use that same bronzer and put it into my crease. I put a little bit of the highlight on my lid. Mascara, I use the L'Oreal Voluminous Superstar Mascara, and then my lips are Colourpop Fairy Floss Gloss. That's it. So we're calling the check-in time 9:10. The next check-in I do will be 9, 10, 11. I might do a check-in in a couple hours in natural lighting. We'll see. Or I might wait until I get back. So I will see you guys in a few hours. All right, so it's now 2:10. So the foundation, oh, we almost had exactly 5 hours. I went to my appointment. You can see a line here where my head was face down, but it actually held up pretty well. I mean, it definitely is like rubbed off down here a little bit, but usually I look like a hot mess when I come out of there, so I feel like considering it has held up pretty well. It for sure has mattified quite a bit. When I was in my car, the car lighting looked pretty dark, but I feel like cars always do that for some reason. I'm gonna get really up close just so you can see the texture and finish and stuff. Nose looks pretty creasy. Yeah, it's like totally worn off around here, which didn't really touch anything. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on the brush to touch up those bottom areas just where it wore off. You really have to like coat it on the brush to get anything to show up. I'm just gonna do a tiny bit where it wore off in the center of my face. It looks like it's layering fine. Okay, so got a little bit more coverage. My bronzer's kind of messed up now, but that's okay. So this is what it looks like after the touch-up. So like I said, it is about 2 o'clock. I will be back to check in at the end of the night. Whew. All right, guys, so it is 6 o'clock, so the foundation's been on for about 9 hours. I'm having a rough day. I think I just need a little bit of time to process everything that I learned yesterday. I'm trying to stay optimistic. Sorry that the first 2 days of 15 days of foundation have kind of been a shit show between migraines and crying and emotions. What is this? If anyone's new here, this isn't how first impressions usually go. So the foundation is definitely not cry proof, not waterproof. Yeah, all of this is off. But if we just look at the rest of my face, let's do that. It looks really good still. We're not setting it with a powder. It looks really great on my forehead. It looks really nice and smooth. Looks like a soft matte finish to me. Like once it actually sets, it definitely doesn't look as luminous as when you first put it on. It does say that there's oil controlling properties in there, so that's probably why I haven't gotten oily. Let's just talk about the practicality of this for a second, because I just don't see myself using this. Someone needs to invent something that you can just put on your head, like one of those dog cone things. That's what we need. That would be great. Then you could just go to town and spray. I like how it feels super lightweight. I like the coverage that we got, but I feel like I had to use a ton. If you're looking for a foundation for like special events and photography and stuff, and you thought this was gonna be it, I think the Jolie Stick Foundation that I reviewed a couple weeks ago in Foundation Friday, I think that one is amazing for special events, and it's easy to apply and doesn't get you covered in foundation. As far as different skin types, dry skin, you would probably need to moisturize really well underneath this. Mature skin, it didn't settle in any of my lines and stuff, so I think for mature skin, this one could be okay. Oily skin, it held up pretty well. I think this could be worn across different skin types, just depending on how you prep your skin. Not totally in love with it, but also don't hate it. I don't think it's a bad product by any means. I just don't think it's for me, and I wouldn't use it enough to justify $28 for this guy. Tomorrow, we're gonna have a good day. If you guys like this video and are excited for the rest of 15 days of foundation, make sure you give this a thumbs up. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.